Sweet. So we were talking about mists versus physical products and
Right.
what was the third one? Mists
Yeah, so
or something to eat.
yeah, right, yeah. So it's like a mist or something like you could actually like a pill or like some dissolving like tablet or something.
Mm-hmm.
Um
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
it could be a routine, but in this case we're talking about, like a product.
Yes. To focus. And if you do something that you eat, then you have to get more like certifications and stuff. You have to make sure that it's safe to consume. So then that's like another thing you have to do if you're gonna ingest it.
Right.
Um, but with the mist, like I said, if it's water, you gotta do preservatives and stuff. If it's alcohol, that makes it easier. But when you have a product, whether it's a food product or a mist product or any sort of like non-toy kind of thing,
Right.
there's always things you got to look into. Like if you're going to add a scent to it, there's certain loads, like certain amounts of the scent that you can add to your product. And that same scent might be okay to add 1 ounce if you're going to use it in wax, but it might only be okay to use like a lot less if you're going to be using it in a spray. Um, and also like what's in your spray, and that changes how much of the scent that you can use and what's safe. So there's so much more that goes into a product, which is why I say like a toy would be a lot simpler, I think, to if you're deciding between like which one's the easiest to just start with something, I would highly recommend a toy. They even have those little like popper toys to help you focus.
Right.
Or like you were just doing the spinners.
Right.
But also
That's
mhm,
funny that the toy, like, I mean, for some people, like a little fidget, right, that helps them out, right? So
mhm,
either helps them focus or, you know, reduce anxiety,
mhm,
or just, I mean, it could be anything, but I'm curious how that helped, like
mhm,
when you're doing, for example, the divine drops,
mhm.
like I'm pretty sure you had to go through like the troubleshoots of this, like the formulation, and so I know it goes a lot. There's a lot that goes into that stuff.
Yes, there is a lot that goes into it. But I like what you were talking about with kind of the why. Like why does having a fidget spinner or these popper things, how does that help either reduce anxiety or focus more? And I think honestly, I think part of it is a bit of a distraction. I think in this world we're very used to multitasking, and sometimes when we're in a meeting or something, we can lose focus. And if we're just doing something with our hands or something, then it kind of like soothes that part of our mind and body that wants to be doing other things, and we're able to
Right.
focus more. I think that that might be part of it as well. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think I mean, I myself, I kind of see myself as trying to focus on one thing all the
Mm-hmm.
time. So like I like to do several things at once.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because I can, but at the same time, that's why usually I tend to have my phone like on my other desk, right? So because that's an easy distraction. That's easy, right? So you got to identify the easy distractions first, like what's
True.
easy, right? And then but for me, I feel like being productive and just absorbing as much knowledge as you can um is like the first step to like actually staying in focus. So like
Hmm.
there's like something called the catalyst knowledge, the product knowledge converter, or something that helps you pretty much like the moment you start learning something or getting any knowledge,
Mhm.
it's positive reinforcement for you to continue to do that. So then that means you're in focus or in flow,
Yes.
which is like, flow is like the perfect, or the place. everybody wants to be, right? Even you might not know it, but you're either going to be between anxiety and boredom, and you want to be in the middle, right? In flow. And that's like that's the place where I'm always trying to get to, right? That's when you're like not even thinking of time, you're not even
Right.
thinking of any distractions. You're like focus, deep focus, however you want to call it.
Joyful. Mm-hmm.
Right, exactly. So that's interesting to me. And
Mm-hmm.
if you could identify anything that helps you like take that next step or helps you,
Yes.
I mean that's a win, right? So it's all
Oh,
about stacking wins.
yes, stacking wins. I love that. You said a lot of really important things. I think, like you said, getting rid of easy distractions. That's
Yeah,
that's awesome. Like you said, your phone or clearing your environment,
right.
maybe a mist to help set your mood, right?
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, I think the miss is gonna be the goal, the ultimate goal, I guess.
mm, a mist or your a toy, something to help with that. And then you also mentioned, flow and getting into that space between, you said anxiety and boredom, but I think in a way you're also touching on curiosity because you mentioned just absorbing knowledge. And I think that when you are able to get into a place of being curious about something, you're able to find that flow easier rather than, oh, this is something I have to do, or I'm bored with this, or this is
Exactly.
anxious. Like, let's get curious about this, absorb that
Right.
knowledge, and then that's like a hack to get into the flow more. Um,
Right. Right.
right?
And that's the thing. I'm naturally a curious person, right?
Mm,
But I've met people that they're like, well, how are you so curious? I'm not even like it's hard for me to get into things. So
mm,
I feel like that is that's the whole point of this product, right? This thing, this mist, right? It's like to help these people, I guess, or
mm,
right, to help them like be curious about something, maybe, like who knows? Maybe
mhm.
like, in between that the focus, the anxiety, we add a curiosity there, right?
Right.
Right? So like that's another thing there that you mentioned that naturally for me it comes, but like some people don't
Mhm,
have that sometimes,
mhm.
so I would add that actually to those.
Right? And
Yeah,
I feel like the curiosity kind of fits in with the flow. I feel like they're in the same area there,
right,
right? Because they help one another. And so with this product to help them get curious, um, that's a whole other thing, like getting curious versus getting focused.
right.
So how would you go about that?
Yeah, that's a question where like you could really like dive deep into it, and like you could really like start asking not just one question but multiple questions, right? And
Get
then you go, yeah, you're gonna go down the rabbit hole, and like
Mhm.
I think curiosity starts at a young age. So, you can start going into like channeling your weaknesses, your vulnerabilities, and like even trauma. So like you could go back to like the roots, right? You go back to where it all started, and that's for me the inception of it, right?
Wow.
How do you so I think that's like how do you get curious? Like or how do you get interested in that? Or how do you even start to get that? Yeah, that's a big question, I think. I don't know. That's a good question for you. You kind of stumped me on that one. So,
Well, it sounds to me a bit like shadow work. I wasn't expecting to get into this, but
oh
you
wow.
mentioned, yeah,
Yeah,
when you mentioned kind of curiosity and coming back to your childlike self, who's innately curious, right?
right,
Um, and kind of, I think a lot of curiosity or just finding your flow sometimes can be this unlearning of these systems and ways of being that you were taught or socialized into society to be that are not really part of you. Uh, and kind of shedding those layers to come back to you rather than adding layers to try to find it. Because, like you said, your childlike self already knows it. And I think that ties into something you said earlier with how naturally you want to multitask, but you are trying to focus on one task. And I think there's something to be said for both. I think that focusing on one task can absolutely be valuable. However, I'm learning more and more that it is also really valuable to work with what innately works for you, right? So if you're finding that, multitasking is what you naturally want to do, finding ways to make multitasking work to still get what you need done. So that might be working on three different things at the same time, but you're still working on all of them. And just because you're not set on one for a certain period of time doesn't mean that it's a failure or anything like that, that I feel like is often a sentiment in our society. And I think that it's also about changing the narratives of success and what how you find your own success and not necessarily what this cookie cutter and again socialization is expecting of you and ways to find it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's very like you could go very like deep into it, because it's not a you could break the shell, but there's a lot that goes into like delving into like what makes you curious or what's something that excites you, like just going into it, right? Like you're just going all in, right?
Mhm.
And
You get lost, like you said.
yeah, so um yeah, I'm interested in seeing what, the future and as far as like this thing that just kind of like what is something that will help people,
Mm,
gain clarity with focus and, help them pretty much continue their path to like
right.
pursuing whatever they want to do, right? Like,
Mm,
um, so if there's anything that helps you, I mean, I'm pretty sure Divine Drops also helps. So, uh, like I think anything if you put pretty much something like a meaning behind it, right?
I like that.
Whether it's like, t yeah, whether it's, to, your hair, right? Like, or your skin. Um, yeah, I think if it makes you feel good and it's something that you want to continue doing, that's a goal, right? You're focused on that goal. It gives you clarity on what exactly you want to do, right? Which is solve a problem, right?
Mm,
So I think it's all related at the end of the day.
Oh, everything is related. I completely agree. It's all related. Yeah. And it's really cool too how you want to find a product for this because, oh, we're running out of time. Um, um, and solution. I think some of it too is all on the flip side. Like I read this book, I'm reading this book, and part of what it talks about is listening to that inner voice of yours and hearing the subtle things it says, like you want to dye your hair or you want to move or
Right.
even more simple, like, oh, I notice, oh, I do want water right now, or just different things and acting on those, obviously in healthy manners and just kind of flexing that muscle. Um, and in that, I think that builds courage to then go after your goals and do your other things. But I think it's really cool that you're also focused on a product that you can bring to the market to help people with that. So
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. At the end of the day, I mean, you're trying to reframe your mind. So like
Yes.
that that's gonna be kind of if I had the product and if it is the product, it would be called
Mm,
like reframe. So like
very cool.
it
Ah,
would be kind of
it's great.
yeah. So but yeah, I think we'll probably talk about talk about this week, I guess,
Yeah. Let me start a new meeting because we're
Okay.
run out of time.
I'll wait for you here.
Okay.
Or just send me the link, right?
Yeah, this one worked last time. Did we just maybe we can exit and come back?
Yeah. Leave and then we'll jump